Hi, meet Millie.
Hi.
In just a few minutes, you'll see Millie's reaction to the piece of functional art that I made for her. Millie saw a walnut and green apple resin hybrid bowl I made a while ago and imagined a different piece of art using the same elements, a walnut and green apple resin rolling pin. Watch the process while I tell you more about Millie, and then we'll see her reaction in just a few minutes. Millie is a familiar face in her community of less than 3,000 people due to her working at a local retail establishment for more than 20 years. Everyone I know who also knows Millie appreciates Millie's friendly, warm smile and pleasant demeanor. Millie came up with the idea of a rolling pin because she likes to make pies, and the idea of having a custom-made piece of art that didn't have the possibility of becoming a catch-all appealed to her. I think we all know what Millie's talking about there. Together, Millie and I agreed on a French-style rolling pin. I floated the idea of random lines filled with resin, and Millie gave the project the green light. The first step was to create a blank. Our model, the French pin from our kitchen, checked in at 22 inches long, 1 inch diameter at the ends, and a diameter of 1.79 inches, just under 1 inch and 13/16 in the middle. The only piece of walnut I had that was thick enough to harvest a blank from was a slab from the outside of a tree which had been given to me at least 15 years ago, and it was under a roof the entire time I had it. I knew there was some bark inclusions. The question was, could I work with what I found? The answer to that question was no on the first blank. I really worried about that one just coming apart. There was bark in the second blank also, but I couldn't get the third piece out of the slab, and I wasn't worried about the second blank coming apart, so we pressed on. A cylindrical blank just under 2 inches in diameter was roughed out to fit inside a piece of 2-inch PVC pipe which I had chosen as a mold. The next step of the process was to cut the channels for the resin. I set up the portable router table with the 1/8 inch bit set a 1/2 inch above the table and the fence 1 inch away. A secondary fence was clamped to the table 2 inches from the first fence, creating a channel that I could run the blank through, and we were off to the races. I set up an air nozzle under the router table in an ineffective attempt at clearing the channels during the channel cutting process, but as I said, it was ineffective, so I had to clear the channels manually, which is what I expected. Feeding the blank through the table router, I twisted it from side to side, resulting in the desired randomness. For the mold, I cut a narrow channel in the PVC pipe from one end to the other, hot glued caps on the ends, and hot glued short plexiglass sides at an angle above the cut in the pipe, creating a long funnel so I would be able to get the resin into the mold rather than all over the outside, which surely would have happened if I tried to pour resin through a 1/8 inch gap. After the channels were cut, I coated the piece in clear resin in an attempt to minimize air coming out of the wood during the curing process. The sapwood portions of the blank absorbed the resin, so multiple coats were required for those areas. I also attempted to create a pressure chamber, but without success. I made the pressure chamber out of a piece of 4-inch PVC pipe. I installed the regulator manifold from my Harbor Freight pressure pot, but was unable to hold more than about 6 psi, and what was in the tank ran out pretty quickly. Pouring the green and white resin, total boat 2-to-1 with a slow hardener, was a little of this and a little of that, and some tappy taps on the ends to ensure lateral movement of the resin. Anywho, I had forgotten to coat the mold with a release agent. I have a couple on hand. So getting the piece out required cutting the wall of the pipe using my table saw. I set the depth of cut to the wall thickness and cut roughly 90 degrees apart around the circumference, and the mold came right off in 4 long strips. As soon as I started turning, I realized that the steady rest would be necessary to eliminate flexing in the piece. As I dialed in the shape, I filled voids with Total Boat's UV resin. After sanding the 600 grit, I cleaned the surface with some denatured alcohol, then used Brad sanding paste and tongue wax finish. Let's see what Millie thought when she saw the finished product for the first time.
Oh, I love it. Oh my God. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh my God, so soft. Wait, I love it. Yes, exactly what I wanted.
It's amazing.
Thank you, it's beautiful. Oh my God, I love it.
Well, there you have it. Thanks for tuning in. Here's another video you can watch. Check out the community page on my home channel there, and we'll see you next time. Bye.